All right.
Hello, folks. How you going? I'm on time.
Yes, in fact, we've been chatting for a minute or two. He was early, would you believe?
I know, right? I had like some food, and then I made my water happen. So here's water.
Yeah. Oh, good man.
And then it's not just urine. There's water in it too. And I sat down with my water and I went, I'm going to enter the broadcast studio. And because I also wanted to check my mic and my camera because they're of a different make and style to mine own. Because I'm not even in Melbourne.
All right.
I'm so in the nation's capital.
That's why your decor looks different. Some people were commenting on it.
My decor looks different because I've gone renovation nuts. I'm going to go renovation nuts again on Tuesday too.
All right.
I'll be back to where it was.
Different decor again. Fair enough. I, for the first time in ages, have got my jumbo drinking stein out to have a big old cold lemonade.
Bloody, when the stein comes out, the craziness of the angry reaches us all. I'm about to become a fist puppet, and I don't like it. When the stein comes out, the angry just goes crazy. He goes, Easy, come here. I go, what? I'm going to hurt you. You're going to hurt me? No, I'm going to hurt you. You're going to hurt me? No, I'm not going to hurt you. Just bend over. Are you going to hurt me? No, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. Say the words that I say. I don't get much of a choice, do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Trump is impeached.
Yes.
That's
Speaking of going crazy, everyone's throwing in the crazy temperatures in the chat. Luke saying it's 45 in Adelaide today, 46 tomorrow. PBR putting it's going to be 43 in Melbourne tomorrow.
44 PBR, 44, my man.
Glad it said 44 in Sydney today. Probably depends which part of Melbourne you're in, what the temperature is. I'm closer to the bay, so I'm more likely to get some cooling breezes here. And hello, Will's in the chat as well, just saying, and Musical Aviator, yes, just saying hello to everyone in the chat.
Wonder what temperature it is in Hawaii, where Scummo is.
About 20. I actually looked it up. But after tomorrow's 44, then we've got a whole bunch of days where it's only about 20.
We get the cool change.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of my favorite cool change ever was like my second or third year here. And we had this real run of like fucking hot years. First year we were here. We lived in this house in Sydney Road, which gets hot. And the temperature that day was 49 degrees. Didn't quite hit 50. And on that and all week, it didn't drop below 45 degrees. But on that particular day, that 49-degree day, 50 degrees, right, we had to take a round-shouldered fridge up 3 flights of stairs. And I had two weedy, wimpy guys with me. So I had the heavy end. So I effectively lifted a round-shouldered fridge, and those motherfuckers are really heavy, up 3 flights of stairs in 49-degree heat. We had no furniture in the house. So I lay down on wooden floorboards for the next 2 days going, I'm really hot and uncomfortable, but I can still sleep. So, I just want to say how tough and hardcore I am.
You are.
I'm forgetting to look at the camera. If I'm way back here, it's not so bad. Oh, but then I look like one of those guys who should be interviewed. I don't know. I didn't see the little girl. I wanted to play with her, though. So, I should just... do that.
Yeah.
So, g'day everyone. G'day Musical LMS 44 in Sydney today. PBR AZ Legend, you're on my device. Thank you, PBR Street Gang, for letting me be on your device. I really appreciate that. That's really nice. Justin Underwood is giving us a bit of, hey guys, I'm in Tasmania. It's now 30 degrees, which for Tasmania is fucking saying something.
That's warm,
right?
Tassie.
Tasmania gets the fucking Southern Ocean. Nowhere else gets the Southern Ocean except for South America, and we don't talk about South America because they attacked the Falklands and fuck them. No, for Tasmania, 30 degrees is a big deal because of the Southern Ocean where British sailors get lost. And it's where the South Pole is, which is the only pole that we care about in global warming. Sorry. North Pole, what?
Yeah. You just put something into my head that I thought I would tell you some stuff to see how much it wigs you out. And I'm going to also lead in Locust Trooper saying, oh, one step closer to the end of Donald Trump. Not really. As I always say, whenever I talk about impeachment, impeachment is a political process that has some of the trappings of a legal process. It isn't a legal process. The next step is at some point in the new year, Donald Trump is on trial in the Senate, and he is not going to be convicted or, and pardon's the wrong word, he's not going to be found not guilty based on the balance of evidence. The judgment is going to be based on political partisanship. It's as simple as that. Witnesses and evidence mean close to nothing. It actually weirds me out a bit how much the Republicans they're not even pretending. They're literally saying, for one of the most serious constitutional processes in the US, before it even starts, they're saying, yeah, no way, no, he's not getting impeached. We're not going to remove him from office. I'm going to control what happens in the Senate and nothing will happen to him. It's like, dude, at least fucking pretend that you're going to hear the evidence before you say he's not guilty. To just not even pretend.
But wouldn't it be funny as shit if they've all gone, oh, no, he's stoned. And then in a back room somewhere they said, he's fucked. And then when the vote came, like 95% of them said this to you. But then Mike Pence would get in and it'd get a little bit bum-hurty.
Yeah, but that's... The thing is, Pence plays the game of not just being a vile person. Like, it's literally not possible for Pence to enact worse policy than Trump. It's just not possible.
That's actually fair. That's actually fair.
Because Trump did whatever people like Pence
told him. He could line up gays and burn them to death and still be on top of Trump.
Yeah. But and Pence, no one's going to vote for him for president. He's a fucking weirdo. And he doesn't appeal to people the way Trump does. So, hi from Nintendo Lunchbox in Las Vegas. And YouTube. What are you going to do tomorrow during 44 degrees? I'm staying in air conditioning as much as possible.
Happy impeachment. I mean, sad day for America. Sad day.
He's very sad. So that was a quite transgression for you.
Sorry. I was just looking at Nintendo Lunchbox. They're saying maybe keep the clown in just to keep everyone's jobs. Jobs is in the political ones.
But no one keeps their job with him. Like they've quit. They've been sacked. They've been imprisoned. And Trump shits all over anyone the moment people like literally sacrifice their careers and freedom for him, and he shits on them. It's bizarre. He's like such a scumbag.
He's always done that.
Yeah, no, he's always been a scumbag.
He's a sociopath narcissist. I read up today on the internet's what he's like, and he's a sociopath narcissist.
Oh yeah,
and he's not the only president that's been that. By the way, let's not get fucking.
Oh yeah. No.
And by the way, let's not get fucking picking on America either. There's been a shitload of Australian prime ministers that too. Some of them in our lifetime. One of the best ever prime ministers we've ever had, and the best treasurer we have ever had in living memory was a sociopath narcissist. Fuck, he did a good job, though.
Yeah.
Damn, did he do a job. And he was really good at delivering insults. At one point, the opposition said something. He said, yeah, being hassled by the opposition is like being savaged by wet lettuce. It's funny.
PJ Keating. He was
PJ Keating.
man.
Brutal, vicious, brilliant treasurer. Brutal, vicious, nasty man. Great fucking treasurer and prime minister there. Anyway.
Look up now. Paul Keating insults.
That'll be a long list and it'll be pretty good. Yeah. Listen, you've got to hold my battery on my cigarette's just about dead, so I've got to go and get another.
Okay, you can get ready. I'm going to entertain people with PJ Keating insults while you're changing battery.
Okay, and I am going to turn off my mic. Don't even turn me off. I'm just going to turn off my mic so that it doesn't squeal. But
there you go. Right. I noticed a few people talking about the escaping the heat by going to the cinema and watching Rise of Skywalker. I did it this morning. I went like 6 a.m. IMAX screening and then went to work afterwards, which is a bit trippy, getting up at like 4:30 a.m., going into the city, watching a movie on IMAX. And this is like the biggest, I think they claim it to be the biggest screen in the world. It's like, I don't know, it's the size of a 2 or 3 story house. It's fucking huge. And I did find myself more than once marveling. Yeah, I'm just kind of lost in it watching the movie. Sorry, I should have jumped in with that Nintendo lunchbox. No spoilers. I am incredibly, brutally unforgiving of people who give spoilers. Anyone gives spoilers for Rise of Skywalker and I will fucking nuke you. But yes, more than once I was marveling at the size of the bloody screen. As you see, I lost in the story watching it, bloody-daddy-dum, and then I go, Jesus, that's huge. That's like someone's head. When they do a close-up, the person's head's 5 meters tall. I'm talking about watching Star Wars in IMAX.
Yeah, fine. You watch anything in IMAX and you go, that's bigger than my house.
Yeah.
It could be an eyeball.
Yeah. Well, the Melbourne IMAX, I don't know if it's still accurate, but they were promoting themselves as the biggest screen in the world. It's like a 2 or 3 story house. It's fucking huge.
It's not the biggest screen in the world, but you know what? It's the biggest screen in Australia because when Jeff Kennett got an IMAX, he wanted his IMAX to be a metre bigger than Sydney's. So it's a metre each side bigger than Sydney's. What a fucking egotistical dickhead. Mind you, doing a great job of Beyond Blue. Just sensational.
He's a dickhead. Actually, I decided to look it up and saying the largest permanent IMAX screen, this webpage is claiming it's the Sydney Darling Harbour IMAX. And I think that might be out of date. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
IMAX again, whether they're right or whether they're wrong, IMAX Melbourne does actually have on their website the world's largest screen, spans 32 meters wide by 23 meters high. So fucking hell.
Which is big. It's almost as big as my... No, I got told not to do those jokes anymore, didn't I? You told me don't do that anymore. It was like me getting naked on screen.
Yeah.
The biggest screen in the world. I have a 10-meter screen in my 3-bedroom house. Nintendo lunchbox. I am jealous of you because you have a 3-bedroom house. Optimized Until 2016, the world's largest IMAX was in Darling Harbour, Sydney,
Yeah.
and measured 35 by 29. And there you go. Yeah, because I know that Sydney did something back in and back. It was like his back and forth thing. It was a bit of a wank. So I like it big.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Nintendo Lunchbox, you and me are going to do naughty things together. I think I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm smelling it. You know what I'm saying? In some states, it would be wrong. But if it's wrong, I don't care because it feels so right.
I think Systemism did some looking up of screen sizes, and I think from a different source, but has found the same thing, saying the Melbourne IMAX is the biggest. But again, it's very hard to be sure. Who knows? But it's not that important. But it's very.
What I love the idea of like you're watching a movie and you're seeing some nerd get out there with one of those wheels that goes click, click, click in front of your movie, click, 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 just in front of the screen, and you go, I just got to find out which is bigger, click, 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 and then like trying to climb up this. I think it's in my head. Obviously, not enough drugs.
I was thinking, like I was saying, it's like a 2-3 story house. It's not. At 23 meters, it's like an 8-story house. It's the size of a fucking apartment building.
That's right. It's fucking enormous.
That's freaky.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely freaky. But
it's
anyway,
like how an eyeball can be as big as a house. It's fucking enormous.
Yes.
Anyway, enough of your IMAX shenanigans. How was Star Wars?
Oh, it was good. I mean, I don't really want to say anything because I think anything can count as a spoiler, basically. But lots. Unsurprisingly, lots of people are complaining about it. Lots of people like it for different reasons to the previous ones. But what the hey? Yes, it's very tempting to say things because there's lots to say about it. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone. No, but I got into the the Paul Keating insults, and they're pretty good. He was talking about the then leader of the opposition, Andrew Peacock. He said, and most of these happened in Parliament, if not all of them.
Yeah. Like right there in.
He said, the leader of the opposition is more to be pitied than despised. The poor old thing. Liberal Party of Australia ought to put him down like a faithful old dog because he's of no use to it and no use to the nation.
Smack. That's going to hurt.
When he's going John Howard at one point, he goes, look at him, he's wound up like a 1,000-day clock. One more half turn and there'll be springs and sprockets all over the building. Mr. Speaker, give him a Valium.
That's fucking great.
And just generally to the coalition front bench, you were heard in silence. So some of you scumbags on the front bench should just wait a minute until you hear responses from me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Generally calling them scum.
I remember that because they were all okay. So the house microphones are set at a certain threshold, whereby you can talk under the threshold and the sound doesn't go through to the chamber or Hansard or anything, and that is considered silence in the house. And if you speak above that threshold, it can be heard and it's considered noise in the house. Anyway, when you said that, they all blurbed over the threshold and they were supposed to be in silence. And so they pretended they were and fucking went them for it. Yeah, you're all scumbags. My favourite of his was, go on, keep talking, you unrepresentative swill.
He's talking about the Senate when he said that, wasn't he? I'm trying to find an appropriate picture to represent this because before he started jockeying for senior jobs in the Liberal Party, John Howard had those big, scary, out-of-control eyebrows that go most of the way up his forehead.
Like,
find a
up
good,
there.
good photo of it, and I can't. I found one little one. Look, I'll do this screen share. It's just a little one. Where was it? It's just a little picture, but you can see how far up his fucking head the eyebrows go.
Yeah. They're climbing toward Everest with no oxygen.
Yeah. And when he decided he wanted to go for leadership roles in the Liberal Party, he trimmed the eyebrows. Like, it was incredibly noticeable. And
I think someone said, cut your fucking eyebrows off or you'll never get elected.
Yeah, because you look like a weird mutant. And Keating had a go at him over it. Like, he says, I will never get to the stage of wanting to lead the nation, standing in front of the mirror every morning, clipping the eyebrows here, clipping the eyebrows there with Jeanette and the kids. It's like, spot the eyebrow. She's like going for his weak point. You've got really fucking weird eyebrows. Fuck anything to do with policy. I'm just going to pick on your eyebrows.
Pick on your eyebrows because you can go and stick it up your ass. Yeah. Mind you, that was at the stage too when it was kind of harsh because the NLP LNP had fucking nothing to come back with economically. They just had nothing because everything that the Hawke Keating government had done so far. This is a bit before the fucking recession everyone had to have. Everything they'd done so far with gold. Everything was fucking gold. Medicare had come through, fucking Trump's. Everything was making money. Everything was fucking crashing through left, right, and centre. You know, even did they just call it Telstra, or was it still Telecom at the time? Had been fucking revved up and wasn't sold off. You know, everything was working, and then the LNP had fucking nothing to say. And then Houston tried to sell the GST and looked like an absolute fuckwit on national TV.
Yeah.
It was called the birthday cake scandal.
Which is kind of what you were saying the last time. It's not just 10%. It's 10% on this component, and then another 10% gets added for another component, and another 10%. And explain the birthday cake.
Okay, so what happened was they said, all right, I want to buy my kid a birthday cake. Oh, well, it's 10% of the birthday cake. No, I want to make the birthday cake and have a party for my kid. So it's a birthday cake with candles. Tell me what's taxed. Okay, so the flour's taxed because it's been processed, but the eggs aren't taxed. The chocolate's taxed because it's been processed and imported, so it's taxed twice. The icing, well, the sugar in the icing's not taxed, but the flavour in the icing's taxed and the colouring in the icing's taxed. But the candles are only taxed in the wick and not the... And he went on for like 3 minutes, like explaining this really complicated tax system of this fucking birthday cake, for fuck's sake. And the nation went, no. And then years later, the horrible little turd wank came in. I'm sorry, I'm talking about our Prime Minister John Howard. Sorry about that. Turd wank fuckbag came in and said, don't worry, I'll make it simple. It's 10% on fucking everything. You may die now. No, he said you may die now. That was all, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was his general response to everyone. Oh, and by the way, in response to your earlier question, I can hear the fan. It's making.
Oh, sorry. I'll turn it off. There it goes. Goodbye, fan.
All right.
No one liked you anyway.
Yeah.
You're just run by a USB.
Now, because I thought, I just noticed someone else popping, the good spirit dropping in and saying good morning. Good morning. To you. Good evening to us. Because I thought I might have a go at a real sort of hot take podcast thingy, because I've got some ideas that I think will stun and astound you and provoke some conversation, and it'll work towards Trump and impeachment, because I think, hey, it's the topic of the day. We might as well talk about it. But I'm going some other stuff I want to lead into that ends up essentially being linked to what a fucking criminal Trump is, and the thing he's been impeached for is about the least egregious thing he's done, which is weird. But that's.
But haven't they got them lined up? Aren't there a few ready to go?
No. The Democrats were incredibly resistant to the people in control of the Democrats were very resistant to pushing an impeachment proceeding, despite the various acts of criminality. Since he's been in office, Trump's had to pay out millions of dollars in fine for fraud and stealing from charities, and it's fucking insane. But
didn't he even have little girls dancing in his campaign and didn't fucking pay them?
Oh yeah, that was the other funny thing. Yeah. People who were in his campaign not getting paid. But it was when a whistleblower, I think it's someone in the intelligence community who basically heard about Trump's call to the president of Ukraine and just went, that is such a fucking severe breach of law.
Yes, I know of which
and that's what he's been impeached for abuse of power of office. But yeah, the number of things you could get him for are ridiculous. And hi, Agro Pixie, who's just come in too. So I'm going to stop saying hello to people because we're just going to be talking for a podcast. And
people don't you feel like you're not loved, because you are so loved. And if you want to split myself into various different ways, I don't know, a body modifier, I would be prepared to be with all of you. Is that okay? Can I say that?
Good. That's absolutely fine. And hey, if you want me to love you more, people in chat, I'll say the same thing I said last time. I'm trying to grow the whole Twitch thing. I think everyone who's in the chat is actually watching through YouTube, which is good. I'm just simulcasting to Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to be a pal, if you haven't already done it, you could go over to Twitch, and it's pretty straightforward. The username there is It's Angry Aussie, but I'm putting a link up there anyway. Go to and do the follow and friend thing on Twitch, because I might try and grow that, and you all could help with that. But anyway, so having said that, I'm going to set stuff up now. We're going to talk something that will also be...
I should stop looking so stern, because I was giving it this the whole time you were talking. I was thinking, don't do that. It's not even nice. It's not funny, but it's not even nice. It's it looks like I'm about to serve my first night in jail, which is not too far off.
All right.
That's better, isn't it? I could look sexy on
that.
You'd want to give your children to me to babysit.
You went there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No, I don't actually know him, officer. That's
You fucking do. I've babysitted your kids. They're fine.
Yeah. You just got disturbed when young Mr. Angry ended up being taller than... Well, we're the same height, so he's tall. I was going to say taller than you. He's taller than us.
Fucking youngest Master Angry's fucking got a deeper voice than me.
Yeah. Mrs. Angry's lad is growing vertically as well, but he's got quite the deep voice.
Last time I had a decent chat with him, he was like, "Oh yeah, man, it's going on." The very last time I had a reasonable chat with him, he was like, "Yeah, man, fucking yeah, whatever you want."
Oh yeah, it was only I even heard back a bit of video of him from 2 years ago.
Wow.
And he's got this tiny little kid voice.
Not now.
And now he's got this deep man voice, and he's getting taller. But my lad, young Mr. Angry, is around 6 foot now.
He kicks shit out of me for fun. I turn up and he just punches fuck out of me. Says, Dad, your mate's here. Smack, smack, smack. Please stop hitting me, Mr. Master Angry. And he just, kicks me in the balls a few times. And I go, well, that's pointless.
Yeah. And us two short asses, we're only like 5'8", and he's like fucking 6 foot now. So
Jesus, you're nice to me. I'm not 5'8". You're so nice to me. Anywho,
if you'd stand up straight, you would be. You and your all my bones hurt, and I can't.
Well, a bit's fine. What the fuck?
Yeah.
My mum asked me if they were going to unbend my spine the other day, and I went, no. Are they going to do your hips? No. Going to do your knees? No. Going to do your shoulders? No. You know why they said they wouldn't do my knees? Because I might wear them out playing sport and running.
Yeah. You might have done that. You might have done that.
Aren't you? Anyway.
Oh no, you'd wear your knees out doing something else down on your knees. Hey, that's where your knees are in trouble.
Don't wear your knees out doing that, because your knees stay stationary. All you need is a good pair of knee pads and a nice air freshener, and you're fine.
Well, that's good to know.
You need a good black texter though for a good time ring. Otherwise, forget it. Your avatar, because you look up there and there's like miles of numbers, and you go, "How am I going to make my?" We probably should talk about something else.
Yeah. In fact, we'll talk about something else because we're going to do stuff for a podcast, and I've got an idea of where we're going to steer the conversation. I'm going to tell you some things that I think you will have reactions to, and we'll also end up, because it does lead into Trump, and so we'll talk about his impeachment and various other fuckeries as well.
Loving shit out of it.
Yeah, we go.
Hey, live people, we love the shit out of you because
yes. And while we won't be saying hello to people in chat, if based on what we talk about, your input is more than welcome. In fact, is greatly appreciated. If you want to suggest something for us to something related, basically, if you want to sort of throw into it, do it, and we may or may not riff on something you put in comments. That was so fucking clunky. Anyway.
No, I loved it. I'm getting my knee pads out for you.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Nintendo Lunchbox, Musical Aviator, and Adele all firing up. Adele made an account just for us. That's nice.
How nice are you, Adele? Yeah. Oh, Adele, you're lovely. And I was just looking over before, and everyone's avatars changed, and I was thinking, am I having an epileptic fit? No.
Yeah, you're stroking
that would
out.
have been funny watching me go, and and then go fall over.
Yeah.
And of course, Angry going, oh yeah, and then making me just go off the chat. Just fucking. Yeah. Okay. If I keep on coughing like this, I'm going to bail because I can't keep on fucking up that show.
All right, so going to do a couple seconds silence, and then I'll do the podcast intro, and I will explain to you, Jon Aidsy, my plans and things to talk about. So, yep, if you're going to adjust yourself, that's good. Okay, so here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining in on the podcast. I'm here once more with Aidsy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for letting me be on your device with Angry. I was bad last week, and he said I wasn't allowed to play, but I am allowed to play because I was especially good and cleaned up.
Yes.
Thanks, Angry.
You redeemed yourself. And there's a couple topics I want to talk about as we record this. It's impeachment day. The Congress in the US formally passed the articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. It will at some point go into the Senate, where the Republicans will just say, yeah, no, we're not punishing him for nothing. So please don't get too excited about it, although it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny.
It's kind of fun though. It's a little bit like, it's a little bit like the county fair. It's not the state fair, but there is a Ferris wheel, and someone is likely to be sick on someone with a MAGA hat.
Yeah, because they've eaten too much deep fried stuff.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone's likely to be sick on someone with a MAGA hat. It's impeachment day. You can urinate all over. Let it go. Let it go. I'm just saying.
So Trump's actually super lucky. The things they've impeached him for, namely the abusing the power of his office to try and coerce president of Ukraine into doing some dirty work on him, for him to maybe incriminate one of his main Democrat rivals, Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's son, who incidentally, this is not a lie, is a crack smoker who banged his dead brother's widow. So
that's Joe Biden or Joe Biden's son?
Joe Biden's son. I mean, Joe Biden probably did it too. He's a bit of a rascal.
Because I was going to say, I had some fun with Joe.
Yeah.
Joe and me, fucking, when we hit the dens, we really fucking hit the dens. Because we went in there one time and there were 6 chicks and we came out, there were 5. And I went, Joe, did you? And he went, no, I thought you. And I went, did you? And he said, no, I thought you. Wasn't me. So it was Joe. That's what I can remember anyway.
Yeah. And if you can remember a night out with Joe Biden, you're doing better than most.
Because it's Tuesday.
It's blackout
school night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We've all got to get after work in the morning. And I was like, it's dawn. Fuck, I've got to get changed at work again.
Yeah.
So anyway, so his son's a crack smoking. I like him already.
Yeah, I know, right? His son got into the Navy and then got kicked out of the Navy for failing successive drug tests. His son's a wild man, and it's absolutely Hunter Biden. I mean, look him up. The man's an absolute legend.
I love how you've got to get successive drug tests to get chucked out of the military.
Oh, because he did use he used his dad's influence to brush some stuff under the carpet. But after multiple drug test failures, they couldn't turn a blind eye anymore. So, it's one thing the Republicans go, yeah, what about Joe Biden and his son? Go, yeah, fucking investigate them. They're fucked up. It's weird that they're fixated on Biden because I don't think he's their main threat, but they seem to be scared of him. But before we really dive into Trump, I want to start on a peripheral thing. And you put this thought into my head. This is the way my head jumps around. You said one fairly innocent line, and my head jumped through 3 things. We were talking before, and you just said something about the Southern Ocean or whatever, and the only thing that happens there is English sailors get lost. And that just made the strangest thing pop into my head. And this is a weird chain of things that actually connects pretty quickly to Donald Trump. A guy, Robert Maxwell, who was, a lord, owned conservative newspapers in the UK. He was actually the OSS? What was the Secret Service in World War II called?
They were not the OSS. They were the OSI.
Oh, it was the equivalent. It was the government spy agency during World War II. Maxwell was actually involved with that because, again, all those rich ponces, like these days, they all go into MI5 and MI6. Those institutions are full of guys who went to all the private schools and are really connected. And
that's going to blow my fucking mind now that I can't remember it.
Look, I tell you what.
If you do the thing, because I can't do the thing because it doesn't let me. I think it's OSI or OSS. Because
I'm looking it up. The British Secret Service in World War II was the Special Operations Executive.
SOE was the SOE. OSS was the Americans.
Yes, OSS was Americans. You're correct. So Robert Maxwell worked for them. So he was a spook, right? And most people know after World War II, he continued to have connections with the CIA and everything. Anyway, and he big old Tory, runs the conservative newspapers, corrupt as all get out. He died at sea, right? He just disappeared at sea. Someone who'd been a spook his whole life, connected to all the halls of power, just disappeared at sea. Now, of course, this happens. It does happen.
It does happen. Big ocean, little boat. You know what I mean?
And he was on his yacht and he disappeared. And there is a malady of the mind that's called calentia, that sometimes sailors who've been at sea a long time get a form of delirium and they forget they're at sea and they think the green ocean is green grass and they just step off the side of the boat.
Yeah, and what that's about is the weirdest thing. When you're sailing alone across the ocean, okay, you've got to be particularly very good at navigation because you've got to stop at actual points along, especially the Pacific Ocean, because when you're sailing alone, you can't.
Sorry, I thought you were going to call it. You were going to call it the Pacific Ocean because that's the thing where people always mispronounce specific as Pacific. They say, "I pacifically told you," and you're actually confusing sailors.
I said you shouldn't go around in Chanel's place. You get a pumpkin head. Anyway, I asked you specifically. So what happens is you're not when you're sailing alone, you don't sleep for more than 20 minutes at a time. So you nap for like 20 minutes and then you're awake for 3 hours, then you nap for 20 minutes, then you're awake for 3 hours, right? And you can do that for like 3 weeks. After that, your brain goes, no, I've had enough. You've had enough. We're out. These days, boats are a lot better in the sense you can pull the sails down, set the GPS, and go, I'm crashing for the night.
Yeah. But
back in the day, you just couldn't do it. You just couldn't sleep. Yeah. And calentia was a real thing, and sailors would do it a lot. And they would often like buddy up and maybe go 2 and 3. And guys have seen guys on watch, like because of the way the watches work, sometimes you can pull a triple watch. It's just weird. It just works out like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can pull a triple watch, which is technically 18 hours awake. And by the end of it, it's just rooted. But guys have said they've seen their mates like talking to them and literally walk off the boat. Just walk off the boat. And they've gone, shit, better get him then. And when they were like, shaken alone and said, what the hell happened? It's like, didn't you guys hang on, we're at sea, aren't we? I thought I was laying down on a meadow.
Yes.
No, buddy.
That may have been what happened to Robert Maxwell. But again, someone who had a long history as a spook and had his finger in a lot of pies, and there are a lot of conspiracy theories around his disappearance as well. Anyway, his daughter, and I'm going to mispronounce her name, A, because I don't know how to pronounce it properly, and B, because mispronouncing it is funny. Her name is Ghislaine, because it's Ghizlane. It's like a French name for some bloody reason.
Ghislaine is pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
Ghislaine is pretty funny.
Not least because she was very closely associated with one Jeffrey Epstein, the recently departed procurer of underage. Now, a lot of people have asserted that Ghislaine used her status as a woman person to make the young girls feel less threatened and actually aid in the procurement of them for the nefarious purposes that Jeffrey Epstein put them to. Namely, he's a piece of shit who trafficked underage girls. And even with young women who were of age, he was doing very bad, dodgy things. Now, and he was doing that for some of the most powerful people in the world. And that includes...
that never happens, Angry. That has never happened and will continue to not happen. I know this because I've met these people and they're lovely.
Yeah. They deny having sex with underage girls. And in fact, I think most of them deny having sex with young women of age. But they've all been photographed at his parties. Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and scientists, because one of the things Epstein did to make himself appear more credible was invest huge amounts of money into scientific research. So all the top scientists in the world were showing up at his fucking parties, like up to and including Wheelchair Dude. I'm just calling him that because his brain, my brain.
Hawking is not even a fair mention.
What?
Hawking used to be told by his friends in the physics department, because physics and maths always are at each other's throats.
Yeah.
It's like the Navy and the Air Force, right? The Navy used to say the Russians are merely our adversaries, our enemies are the Air Force. Right, so like fucking the physicists and the mathematicians were, one of them was saying, well, one of them's just a calculator, and the other one was going, well, prove it, dickhead. And so they would used to get Hawking to go, see that chick over there? The mathematicians want her, take her to bed and fuck her. And so he would take her to bed and fuck her because he had that ability, right? Okay, so this didn't stop, right? It didn't just stop because he was a professor.
Right.
Now, here's my thing about Hawking, right? Hawking went through 4 wives, okay? Right. He's a bad boy, can't keep his dick in his pants. The last 2 wives he went through, he was in a wheelchair.
Yes.
The last wife he divorced, he couldn't talk. Now that, my friend, is how you pull a root. That is really putting it to it, right? So you call Wheelchair Boy going to these sex parties, that's a Tuesday, dude.
Yeah.
That's, come on. If Wheelchair Boy's not at a sex party, it's not a sex party. The Vatican rings him up. Dude, we're having this massive gay get-together. Bad voice. I just needed to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's your Stephen Hawking. I like it. But yeah, so Epstein himself was hanging these parties, having the great and powerful at them, and he's such a strange case because there was always this thing of how did he ever actually get money? Because you look into his background, he was a teacher at some, I guess it was a kind of a snooty school in New York. And he wasn't regarded as a particularly good teacher. And I think even then there were stories of him trying to invite the teenage students to come back to a party at his place. But anyway, one of the parents of a child in Epstein's class, for some reason, decided Epstein was fantastic and he was really smart and he should invest money with him, and gave him some enormous sum of money to invest. And it's really unclear as to why that would have happened. And like, so did Epstein have blackmail material on him or what? Because it makes no sense at all. But anyway, and then because one super rich guy had put $1 billion into his investment fund, all these other rich guys put millions and billions into his investment fund. So they're not giving billions to Epstein, they're putting it into a fund, and he rakes a couple of % off all the things, which is, of course, millions upon millions of dollars. Epstein becomes a billionaire, ends up buying this house that's an entire, mansion, that's an entire city block in New York fucking City. So you can imagine how expensive that is.
And he would have had to buy that off the Catholic Church, so it would have fucking cost a fortune. Yeah.
So he's got all his money. Now, the 2 main conspiracy theories are, and I'll give you the most prevalent one first, but the second one's actually my favorite. The idea is once he got this money, he started doing these parties and getting the ladies and underage girls in, and getting all the rich blokes in, and then he had compromising video of them, basically cavorting with the young feminine ladies, and so it's like extortion is actually really hard to get away with because you have to explain where you got the money. But if you own a huge investment hedge fund and you just say to the guy, just put $100 million in the hedge fund and I'll invest it and I'll just take my percentage. So, I'll end up making $10 million out of you and I can declare it all. It doesn't have to be extortion. So that's the most common conspiracy theory about Epstein, that he garnered all this money by getting the rich guys into compromising positions and then blackmailing them into putting money in his investment fund. So he could get a whole bunch of money without it looking absolutely criminal. And that seems plausible.
But, also just quickly before we go on, the retarded part about that is if your hedge fund gets enough money in it, it actually starts to suck money in as a gravitational attractor. So these poor bastards that have been extorted actually end up making a profit.
Yeah.
Weirdest fucking thing ever. But there you go. Anyway, so the second... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, he notoriously would refuse to take people on as clients. You don't have enough money. I'm handling so much money. Your $10 million isn't enough to interest me.
Jesus,
the guys at the big end of town literally have $1 billion in my investment fund. So 10 million, I don't even get out of bed for that. So it turned into this big thing. But my favorite conspiracy theory is because his origin makes no sense. Why did this first guy give him this huge stonking pile of cash for the investment fund? And yes, possibly he had some incriminating stuff on that guy, but where would he have got it? The conspiracy that I really like is the idea this rich guy, because, this is like that Stanley Kubrick movie, Eyes Wide Shut, the weird rich people, kinky sex parties where people die and shit. And they do drugs and fuck each other and people die occasionally and they get to cover it up because they're so rich.
Yeah.
And so it's that sort of party. And the first rich guy, so this conspiracy theory goes, wanted the patsy because if he organized the party and shit went wrong, it could eventually be tracked back to him. And so he basically invented Jeffrey Epstein to be the guy who ran all the parties. So when shit went south, Epstein would be the one who went down, which did eventually happen. And that's a real stretch of a conspiracy, which is why I love it. Because
I actually, you know what was weird when you were explaining that to me before, and you were saying, this guy had incriminating evidence. I was thinking, there's no fucking way a multimillionaire / billionaire is letting some dick fuck teacher getting incriminating evidence on him. I mean, you kill dick fuck teachers. It's very simple. Yeah. You have them burned in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, no, what's happened is this guy's cruised up to this teacher and gone, would you like to make more money in a day than you will see in your lifetime?
Yeah.
And he's gone, I would. So what we're going to do is we're going to get young kids and we're going to fuck them and we're going to get other guys to fuck them and they're going to pay us lots of money. And this teacher guy who's already been on the dodgy list of trying to get kids back to his place is fucking right in the frame. And this guy goes, nom, 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 come to Papa. Yeah. And, I'd totally buy that one. I'd buy number 2. Give me box number 2. I want the money and the car.
Yeah. Yeah. So Epstein ends up getting convicted of basically procuring underage girls for sexual purposes, but gets the most ridiculous sweetheart deal in history. Like something that should have had him put away for 20 years, got him this ridiculously light sentence, like 18 months, and he was allowed out on day release all the time. And somehow, and the judge who did that becomes Donald Trump's legal counsel. His name is Barr. And so it's like, what the fuck? Again, the interconnection of these people is just amazing. But Epstein's luck ran out and he gets prosecuted on different charges. And this time he's going down. So now everyone starts going, well, this will be hilarious because all the rich and powerful are absolutely paranoid that he's going to turn on them because he's a little weasel. and why wouldn't he turn on them? And I remember people joking at the time, particularly like lefty political podcasts, saying, like, anyway, well, next week when he gets murdered, ha, and then they were laughing at because that's too obvious. You can't. He's the most high-profile inmate in the country, and we all joke about him getting suicided, but you can't actually do that. One of the podcasts I heard it the day after Epstein turned up dead. They'd recorded it the day before, and it was just so hilarious in retrospect because he'd been injured, and they said it was a suicide attempt. And so he was then put on suicide watch. And this is where this stuff starts piling up. He's on suicide watch because there's been a self-harm incident, and he gets taken. Again, this is the most high-profile prisoner in America. So he's on suicide watch, 24 hours. Okay, someone says, "I don't think he needs to be on suicide watch anymore. Take him off suicide watch." That he's still in the secure wing. He's under observation. There are security cameras there and whatnot. 2 days after he's taken off suicide watch, he turns up dead, apparently via suicide. And you're like, what? Really?
And how'd that work?
There was an interesting one where the break on his neck, like he hanged himself, and the break in his neck was slightly, not slightly, it was unusual for a suicide. It's more likely the type of injury you suffer in a strangulation rather than a suicide. It's not impossible. It's not even hugely unlikely, but it's less commonly seen in suicides, more commonly seen in assaults. And you remember how I said there were security cameras? They weren't working.
Who did thunk it? Who did thunk it? For 4 days, they were on the fritz. I didn't know that was coming. I didn't even know that was coming when you said it. Yeah. When you said that he suicided, I was thinking, 24-hour security cameras. I wonder if they went on the fritz 4 days. I wonder. And turns out, you know what you were saying before when you were saying that he got day release? I was thinking, shit, I hope Trump gets day release.
He can only be Trump can only be prosecuted for criminal activity when he leaves office, which might be sooner rather than later. Might be soonish. Might not be till the election next year. Hell, America is a fucking weird place. He might run for re-election and win and be there another 4 years. Who fucking knows? America is a very weird place. Anyway, so Epstein turns up dead. The security camera, he wasn't under surveillance. The security cameras weren't working. Later on, the two guards who were on duty, they actually faced charges for falsifying the records because they just filled in a sheet, said, yep, checked on the prisoner, he's fine. Checked on the prisoner, and then in the morning he was dead. And they went, you said you checked on him. Now, here's my possibly slightly unpopular view. Epstein, in my opinion, did kill himself. It's just the idea of someone reaching out and murdering him is just too big a reach for me. When I say probably, I'm like 70 to 80% sure he killed himself. And having said that, a 20 to 30% chance of the most high-profile prisoner in the US being murdered is pretty fucking bad. Pretty fucking bad.
But also you're talking about killing himself. Yeah, it could have been a Roman suicide. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. In as much as it should not have been possible for him to kill himself, things should have been in place to make that not a possibility. I believe there was a conspiracy to create a situation where he could do the Roman suicide. For those who don't know, that's the thing that a noble thing Romans convicted of terrible crimes were allowed to do. They were given the opportunity to suicide to save the family the disgrace.
Their family and their family's money, and it was basically your family and your family's money safe. But if you don't kill yourself, we're taking the fucking lot. So if you fall on your sword, your family's going to be fine. but you've got to go. And that's Maroon suicide. That happened all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I honestly believe there was a conspiracy to put him in a situation where he could do that, because it should not have been possible. And I'd flip the percentages. I'm like 70 to 80% sure that situation was engineered, which is a really fucking serious criminal conspiracy.
Yeah.
Again, there's a 20-30% chance that it was just incompetence, because American prisons are terrible. They're ruled by incompetence.
I am disgusted that you would say that in a place where prisons are largely privatised, and we all know the private sector does everything better than the public sector. I'm disgusted that you would say that the prisons are inept when you know that most of them are privatised. Excuse me, Cell Block D's got some incoming calls for American Airlines. Shush.
Yeah. What was I thinking? Yeah, and of course, the conspiracies. You had the Republican wackos saying the Clintons killed him, which I think is priceless that they think the Clintons have that much power. You had the Democrat wackos saying Trump killed him. And I think it's also a joke to say Trump has that much. Trump's slightly more likely than the Clintons, but only slightly. He alienated so many people, and he had dirt on so many people. The list of people who would have paid someone off to have something bad happen, it's a very long list.
The funny thing that when you were saying that Clinton was seen at these parties on video, I had to have a little laugh to myself, because Clinton, like, he would have said, fucking and.
No, well, see, that's the opposite of what he did, and that's how you know he was doing it. He was fucking the girls at this party, because he took his lie too far and said, I had no idea that he was doing any of this stuff. Everyone knew he was doing that. And, I mean, I suppose slightly more...
Shouldn't have said that, Clinton. Shouldn't have said that, mate. Should have said, I was there. I felt there was a dwarf with like a tray with cocaine on it, but that's all I remember. Everyone was there. You remember that party? There was a dwarf with cocaine on it. You know, everyone apparently was there, and no one can remember anything.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wanted to be at that party.
Yeah, but he could have, like, I suppose it's a bit more awkward to say, yeah, look, okay, I associated with him a lot, and okay, I'd heard the stories, and honestly, yes, I probably should have done something or stopped the parties, but yeah, I probably should have done more. That's a bit more awkward than, no, never. But it's just that we know that's a lie. We know the other one's a lie too, but at least it's not spitting in our face and insulting us with a lie.
That's right. I mean, but the best thing to do, seriously, is to go, I was there. I know what happened. I was there. I didn't see any underages, but I was definitely there.
Yeah.
And I was off my guts too. I was drinking, wasn't, with the hole and the, no, I didn't do that. But I was like pissed out of my head. But yeah, I was definitely there. Weird place. Yeah. I got taken home by Chad. That's what you do. That's what you say. It's like, fuck yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
And I seen Trump. And he was naked.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the bit that burned into my memory, and I can't. He
was naked from the neck down. He had a necktie on, and like women's makeup. And then he also had a lipstick on his. But weird. Anyway, I was pissed. Yeah. So that's where I'd go. Fucking.
You also don't.
I'd be going there.
Prince Andrew. You also don't handle it like Prince Andrew. He did this train wreck of an interview where he basically just said everything wrong. So like, I didn't turn on Epstein when I found out he was a child molester because I have too much integrity. How does that work? But yeah, he's made an absolute fool of himself. He's had one of, she's late now, but he's had one of the women say, he shagged me when I was 17 at one of Epstein's party. And he's going, no, I didn't. But he's just lost all credibility. Nobody believes him. It's ridiculous. But this was all really, that was some color for Trump, because as we get back to Trump being impeached by the Congress, he's so lucky that all he's being impeached for, all the articles of impeachment are about him severely abusing the power of his office by trying to blackmail the president of Ukraine into digging up dirt on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and saying, I'm going to withhold the aid, making it very strongly implied, I'm going to withhold the military aid to you unless you help us out. And
it's like, oh, shit. Right. Okay. You and I hate to say this to you, Angry, because you know that I love you. You know that I love you like a brother, because you can pick your friends, but not your family.
Yeah.
You and I are nobody. And you and I know that everything you say on the electric telephone, everything that you say on the computer, everything you say out on the street is recorded, recordable, fucking stuck somewhere in some version of storage somewhere, only to be dragged out later to fuck you in the ass, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So deal and own everything you say all the time, because everything you say comes home to roost all the time.
Yeah.
You know? Every single thing you say comes home to roost. So if you say some shit on the phone, like, I'm going to threaten you with this, this, and this, if you don't do this, and you are a fucking political leader who is or about to become the president of the United States of America, can you imagine the number of motherfuckers trying to listen to what you're saying and the number of motherfuckers who are listening to what you're saying? Don't pretend you're going to get away with shit like that. You're not. The very best encryption systems in the world are state-run and owned and are cracked by other states who are fucking make it their business to crack encryption systems. Fuck me drunk. This has been going on since World War I, for God's sake. It won World War II. Wake the fuck up. There is, I don't know, let's call them China, who has an entire fucking arm of government fucking devoted to up-fucking other people's encryption systems and fucking their secret communications. Do you know, it's expected, I'm just saying because we're in Australia, they think there's more Chinese espionage agents in Australia than there are Australian espionage agents in the world, right? So effectively, right, you basically, if you're a person who's got any known at all and you're on the phone and you're threatening someone, you're a fucking idiot, right? The thing you do is you take them out into the woods at gunpoint and you have a chat. You don't fucking talk to them on the fucking phone, for Christ's sake. Definitely not on the computer. I'd make piss Morse code in the snow is how I'd do it. Except I'd have to drink beer to do the signature.
Yes. But of course, Trump was, we all heard the recording of Trump when he was on some TV show and he didn't realize the mic was recording, and he said all the incredibly crass things about, you can do what you want. You can grab them by the pussy. When you're famous, they just let you do it. And somehow that had zero negative effect on his campaign, which is mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing.
But he's so lucky that what he's been impeached for, while it's a serious crime, is a sort of dry political crime. Like, he's not being impeached for underage sex parties. He's not being impeached for fucking multi-million-dollar payments from Russian oligarchs. There are so many, not being impeached for stealing millions of dollars from kids' cancer charities. There are so many worse things, but they got him on this one. He should be counting his lucky stars that that's what they're prosecuting.
I absolutely should. You were talking about him stealing multi-million dollars from kids' cancer charities. In Australia, there was one YouTuber who stole $5,000. He didn't even steal it. He just didn't give it to them. Right? He didn't actually steal it. He just didn't actually give it to the kids' cancer charity. And it destroyed him. It absolutely destroyed him. Should have.
What? Yeah, okay, I'm not even going to mention names because of actionable things, but he is convicted. What he did is he ran an auction on his YouTube channel. It was for a gross tooth that he'd had pulled out. He's saying it's disgusting. Who wants to buy it? I'll buy. And some people said that would be funny. He goes, okay, I'll do a bidding thing, and the winner, I'll donate the money to a kid's cancer charity. And it was several $1,000s in the end.
It was $5,000. In the end, it was $5,000.
So someone down the line decided to look into it and went, hey, kids cancer charity, did you receive a donation of this amount from this person? And they went, nah, not received anything from that person. And investigation, and he denied it for a while. But yeah, someone went to the cops with it, and he ended up in court, and he was convicted of getting the money under false pretenses. Came up with some ridiculous story of, I just gave it to a homeless guy because he looked like he needed it.
And it was just, and we were saying in Australia, there's two really fucking bad things you can do. You can, I don't know what the other one is, but the other one was
two bad things, and I only know what one of them is.
One of them is fuck kids with cancer, or fuck over kids with cancer is the thing that is unforgivable in Australia. Was the other one starting bushfires? No, that wasn't even it. It was something else. We'll remember it anyway. It's the other unforgivable sin in Australia. You can pretty much get away with anything in Australia.
Yeah,
if you've got enough shovel power and a wood chipper.
But Trump, he's just paid a $2 million fine after conceding that he used his charitable foundation at times like a personal piggy bank. And it's just like, how the fuck is he not out the door? How does that not put him straight out the door? I do not understand that. That's like a major fraud. And he has so many fraud convictions in his past, or his businesses have so many fraud convictions. And he's paid so many tens of millions of dollars out. How is he not gone? How is the impeachment for such a simple thing? It does my head in.
It is special, isn't it? You just go,
yeah.
Okay. So the thing that is really hurting my brain here, right, is I hear shit like this going on in Australia, and I go, oh yeah, mob of freaks. They do this shit all the time. They do get caught. They do get jailed. They get let out after a few years, and their political career is over, but they've still got some cash stashed away.
Yeah.
However, if you're brazen about it here in Australia, you're fucking gone. You're definitely out the door. And you're out the door because what everyone's worried about is that you'll take people down as you fall off the pile as you go. You'll drag several people with you. So they very quickly snip you at the edges and flick you. And I'm looking at Trump going, how many people must he be able to take down with him as he goes? Surely they'd be getting the axe out. Surely they'd be cutting the bits of tree that he's near off, just so that he doesn't pull down the whole damn the whole damn forest. Surely they would get out the flamethrower, but no, they're just letting him roll. And it's like, that this has all got to come out, guys. You know that this has got to come out. Even the NSA can't hush this shit up. Fucking. You know what's interesting too? I wasn't going to correct you so much as make you interested. You know how you were saying that the British secret services are all your hoity-toity Uxbridge type, Oxbridge types. Well, at the end of the Vietnam War and during the whole fucking Cambridge 5, was it? Anyway, the guys who sold them out to Russia.
Burgess, Philby, McLean, and Blunt.
Yeah, those guys, right? that just got really high up in the organisation, just sold the fuck out of them to the point where America was stopping giving Britain any information because they just said this is such a big hole. We don't know where it is, but it's just going straight to Moscow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, they said, we have no idea what's actually going on in the world because people who were there were people like cleaners, there were people like fucking tradespeople, there were people like secretaries going to the supervisor / boss going, look, I'm nobody, I know I'm nothing, but there's something wrong with this guy. There's something wrong with this guy.
Yeah.
I just thought you should know because we're all in this big fucking, non-disclosure agreement office and, we've all had fucking security checks. And I know I'm nobody, but there's just something fucking off about this guy. Yeah. All right, I'm going out to Fixie Dunny. Anyway, so whatever, mate. Fucking, another tradie, another cleaner, and bang, did not all blow up.
Yeah.
And M at the time basically went, hang on. And so they started changing their policies. And these days, they look deliberately for people from literally all walks of life to go into MI5, MI6, and GCHQ. They're literally looking for anyone. And the idea, it's the idea is that anyone can walk into anywhere and be someone you don't think they are.
Yeah.
And it's worked a treat. Apparently, also, their geeks are the best geeks in the world. And they have a geek off. This is really weird. The NSA, Japan, Britain, and another place, which I don't know, it's probably Israel, have a geek off every year. They get together and they have like a pen test of each other. Like somebody puts up a box, like a black box of information, and the other lot have got to get in. I've got to break in, and it's like it's like a geek Olympics. So like that'd be fun to go to. You wouldn't be allowed out without being shot, but it'd be kind of cool.
They learned that lesson painfully because up until, as you say, post-Vietnam War, it was just the private school educated snobs who were in the government service, and they turned out to be wholly unreliable. And these days, you common sense is your spy service needs to be as diverse as your population, or you can't do your job.
Yeah,
and I'm going to get this is completely unrelated to the topic, but just as we go on, I'm going to get some eggnog because I've got.
Could you do that and speak really loudly? Because I've got to leave this room for just a little while.
All right.
I'm going to mute myself so I don't make a noise.
That's a good thing. So I think people can appreciate if I'm in a Homer Simpson mood as we approach this festive season. And it's weird. I will fully admit I purchased the eggnog ironically. It's like, ooh, eggnog, that stuff is gross. You only get it around this time of year. And no one likes it anyway. So why get it? And then I started actually mixing drinks with it. And it was a little bit yummy, honestly. It varies yumminess depending what's in it. But I got my little cut glass tiki mug, giant block of ice in it. And I saw a recipe. The two most common things that you put in the good old, what do you call it, eggnog, is rum and brandy. And this recipe said, you should put rum and brandy in it, and particularly the spiced rum, the Sailor Jerry. So I'm going to mix myself up a little bevy. I haven't tried this version of it before. Some noggy nog-nogs. Be careful how you say that. Sound like a racist English person from the 70s talking about nog-nogs.
Thanks, dude. Thank you very much.
You're an English person from the 70s.
Thank you very much for hassling my family. and my country. My songline sings with your songline and tells your songline to get fucked. Anyway, I am actually trying to find a smoke map of where I live, because I have been coughing the shit out of myself today and have had no reason. I can't do it. I can't make it go smaller. Oh, hang on, I can. Look. Oh, I could do that, and then I can make another one. I'm so good at the internets.
You're very good. No, I did notice you're not the only person in Canberra complaining about the smoke. For anyone outside of Australia who may be watching or listening, there are just absolutely terrible bushfires that have been going on for over a month, and large areas, particularly in New South Wales down to Sydney, and it's gone further down south to Canberra, quite choking levels of smoke, which is quite bad. But I'm going to try my eggnog with spiced rum and brandy. That's not bad.
Surrounds.
It's
How is it? Is it good?
It's not bad. I was going to add something to it, and it's not handy. All right, so I know I'm going to put some banana liqueur in. That'll set it off. Because of all the things I've been experimenting with, I would say my number one choice so far was Drambuie and banana liqueur.
Holy shit.
That was good. Eggnog with Drambuie and banana liqueur. Very good.
I'm sorry, I wasn't talking about that. A change in wind direction has caused the smoke to blow across the ACT region. Please call 000 if you see an unattended fire. For updates on bushfires in the ACT, check out the ESA incidents map or download the shit oh dear.
Oh dear.
Shit oh dear. We are yet again in a shitload of trouble. Fuck. Didn't want to be here for that.
So the interesting thing, the state premier of New South Wales, Gladys Berejiklian, just today, because every time I mention the bushfires and how bad they are and how they've been going on for a month, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, and every time it's like, and it's going to get worse. And we are still at that stage. It is actually expected to keep getting worse. We're having heat wave conditions over much of Australia this week. Tomorrow's meant to be very bad in Sydney. Sydney is ringed by fires. And the Premier's advice, because we're now into school holidays, lots of people go on trips. This is the thing. The Premier's advice was, thinking of driving somewhere on holidays? Maybe don't. Literally, and this is the advice that's been coming out in the last week. Like when school was still in, it was like the little kiddies were being told, you can't run around in your breaks because you'll breathe too much.
You've got to stay inside. Yeah.
You cannot breathe too much or you will get very sick. Keeping kids locked in classrooms to limit how much they breathe. And now telling people, were you thinking of going somewhere? Maybe don't. We can't guarantee your safety. These fires are so widespread and moving so quickly and cutting off so many roads. If you're going somewhere, you have to keep constant track of the fire reports or you could be in terrible... Imagine getting the advice, don't breathe and don't go anywhere or you might die.
Okay, right. I gave up smoking. Fuck, how long ago now? It's getting on for 5 years, isn't it?
Years.
Yes, 5 years, mate.
You were the early adopter of the vaping when you were doing it when people literally didn't know what it was. Now you've got to sound like a hipster saying, I was doing it before anyone knew what it was, except you literally were.
Yeah, I literally was. I was doing it before it was cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it used to crack me up how much you had to explain to people what
the fuck I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I haven't smoked since then. and anytime the bushfire smoke or anything came through, I was like, yeah, whatever. But today I've been like really heavy chested, and tonight I've been coughing my ass out and going, what the fuck? Anyway, I just went for a urination attempt. And the vent windows were open. I was having a sniff, and the bushfire smoke is palpable.
Yeah.
And I just went, you're fucking kidding me. And I coughed my ass out in there, and of course I've come back here and tried it. And I couldn't work out why I was coughing. I was thinking, are you getting a cold or something? Is it one of those like summer cold bullshit things? Yeah. No, it's not. It's particulate matter fucking me off. And I never thought I'd be that guy. I always thought, once a smoker, always a smoker. Turns out, no. Anyway, yeah, so I'm also worried because I'm supposed to be on a plane tomorrow. And if I'm not on that plane tomorrow, bad things are going to happen in a very quick succession.
I don't think it's going to interfere with flights. It's not that bad. But I mean, I was just scrolling through the headlines. The all-time heat record for Australia has been broken twice this week and will probably happen again. New South Wales is just fucked, facing very unpredictable fire conditions because of soaring temperatures and high winds. In the last 24 hours, there's like 20 properties destroyed, firefighters suffering severe burns. Scummo is still holidaying out of the country, as far as I know, because he's a piece of shit.
What the fuck leads you to go, it's a massive disaster in my country, so fuck off?
Because you're a sociopath. That's why you do it, because you're a fucking sociopath.
But he was here when this shit started.
Yeah.
And
he left.
And I was like, no. There used to be an ACT, let's just say Premier, right? It's a big long, but let's just say Premier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so bushfires happen in Canberra. He comes home straight away from Bali.
Yeah.
Leaves his fam there and comes home and goes, shit's gone down. It's not fucking good. And so he takes a ride on one of these helicopters that's got the bucket on. Yeah?
Yes.
No, I lied. He doesn't take a ride on one of those. He takes a ride on one of the police surveillance choppers. And so he's riding around there, and one of these balloon helicopters with the water fucking crashes into a dam.
Yeah.
And the pilot is there trying to get out of the fucking thing that's now in the water and sinking. And this Premier goes, oh shit, that's full on. Take us a bit closer. And the pilot goes, oh, yeah, righto. The copper pilot goes, yeah, righto. Yeah, just a little bit closer. He's going, that's fucking weird. All right, a little bit closer. Yeah, no, just a little bit. And then he jumps into the fucking water, swims over the helicopter and opens the door and says, how'd you come, bro? And this police helicopter pilot goes, I'm about to lose my fucking job. Because this politician just like sucked him into let me jump in the water, I'm going to help this guy. Didn't say a fucking word, just went and did it. And then basically the police helicopter pilot went and landed on the edge of the river, and they both swum over, and they've got in the helicopter, and the Premier's gone, okay, so no one said anything, okay? And they leave, and no one was going to say anything except somebody accidentally asked the water dropper helicopter pilot, where's your helicopter?
Oh, no.
Because you've got the keys. Where's the helicopter that goes with? So he had to kind of go, I dropped it. And it all came out. Oh, well. But yeah, he was a massive hero after that, like landslide victory. But what the whole point of me saying all that shit was, when bushfires hit the ACT, Canberra, the capital city, because there's lots and lots of trees around, the actual bushfires race straight into the middle of the city, and there's fire fucking everywhere. And you can go from I live in a suburban city, in 1 hour, and in the next hour you're going, fuck, the whole place is on fire.
Yes.
And I actually got to fireproof my fucking suburban house.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. But you get that. So that was why I was going, fuck, when I was looking at the smoke map. So anyway, yes.
They've started airing really confrontational fire safety ads now. We talked recently about the notorious Grim Reaper AIDS commercial back in yon 80s. These ones have just come out and they're generating a bit of controversy, but they're basically showing how dangerous bushfires can be in as much as they can kill you without warning. And it's because they're quite confrontational that show people in very traumatic circumstances. Some people go, oh, that's a bit much. Okay. No, the government is really trying to drill home. You can fucking die. You die really quickly. One of them that I've seen is like an older couple. They're on their semi-rural property. They're probably either meant to be on a farm or on the edge of a small town. And, the wife says, oh, there's a bushfire warning. Should we get out? And hubby looks the length of the horizon and goes, nah, there's nothing anywhere near us. Don't worry about it. And then he sort of walks around the back of his house and he goes, what's that I smell? And goes and spot fires are all around his house. And then it gets out of control very quickly and he dies. And the message is, embers can blow for kilometers. So you might look and say, no, there is no fire or smoke anywhere in sight. But spot fires can break out, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers away from the fire.
Fucking fire fronts can move at 120 kilometers per hour.
That's what we found on, was it Black Saturday, whatever we call it, the really
Black
bad
Saturday.
10 years ago in Victoria.
Even just simply up hills, they'll go 120 kilometers per hour. And, mate, you can't outrun it. Sorry. No. You can't even outdrive it because as the smoke gets to your car, the air intake, either carburetor or fuel injection, can't actually take in enough oxygen, and the fuel won't go, and your car stops, and you fuck. However, if you're ever caught in a car in a bushfire, and there's anything like a rag, a blanket or anything in your car, or even if there's not, just stay there. Don't open the doors of the windows. Just stay there. Get down as hard as you can, like the crash position, when they go brace, brace, brace. Do that. The bushfire will actually pass you quite quickly. It'll be hot and really unpleasant.
Passes over.
Hey?
If you're lucky, it passes over. Because, people do die. But the other big risk, if you're driving in those things, the sudden smoke pall, it might not stop your car, but it'll reduce your visibility to zero. People get killed by
crashing into shit.
They've got no visibility whatsoever. For international folks, in the last decade, we've introduced new levels of fire danger, what we call catastrophic or code red. And that basically means if we tell you tomorrow is code red, get out today. Because if you hear today is code red, it is too late. What we mean by catastrophic code red conditions is there is literally nothing you can do. The safest thing to do is stay where you are. And if you're the praying sort, maybe pray, because nothing else is going to work. It's that bad. It's that severe. You just have to chance your luck, basically.
The time for digging ditches is over. The thing I was saying about staying in your car, best thing you can do, just stay down.
It's the most protection.
The most protection you're going to get. Most fires go past you. the worst thing you can do is get out of the fucking car and run.
Oh, yeah, you'll die from smoke inhalation.
Die immediately. Fucking just get down there. There's enough oxygen in the car to stay in there 20 minutes, which is sometimes all you need.
Yes,
but
it can pass over. As we saying,
if it's really slow, right? If it's really, really slow, you're screwed. But you're screwed anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
if it's a slow-moving fire, you're just going to die.
You just going to die. I mean, that's it.
Like these we're not joking. I think sometimes people think we're exaggerating because there's all these jokes about Australia. Everything's trying to kill you, and usually we're joking and exaggerating about that. But 100-kilometre-an-hour fire is something that happens. This is on the Black Saturday. What happened? Because whole towns got wiped out and farms. What people were finding, they're in their house thinking, I'm staying in my house. And then they see this wall of fire on the horizon, and it's a couple of kilometers away, but it's scary as all fuck. And they're at the back of their house, and they see this fire that's a couple of kilometers away. So they go, whoops, time to go. And they run through the house and say, grab your bag, we're going now. And they got to the front of, multiple people told this story, they got to the front of the house and their house was on fire. It traveled that fast. It's like the time it took them to get from their back door to their front door, the fire had traveled like 5 kilometers. And people just hadn't seen it before, and it freaked them out. So now we assume shit like that is going to happen.
Absolutely.
You're better off if it doesn't. But if you assume it's not going to happen.
A lot of people now, when they build a house out in the outskirts of, bush or close bush, they build their fire bunker first. The first thing to go in on the property is the fire bunker. And so you got to imagine like a big fucking hole in the ground, lined with, what do they call it? They call it Besser brick here. What do they call it? Cinder block. Lined with cinder block and clay bricks and cinder block and clay bricks. And it's like this big tunnel thing. So a quarter of it is full of water. And there's a line of wet in between one of the brick lines and the cinder block line, and it's not actually to keep it cool. It's actually so it burns, it boils. It steams off, and as it steams off, it takes some of the heat away, like an ablative heat shield of a spacecraft. It actually takes some of the heat away.
You've got to build it properly, because a few people were killed in their badly built backyard fire shelters, because the thing that killed most of them is they did the ventilation wrong. You're underground and the fire can't get you. But what does fire love? Fire loves oxygen. And they had badly designed a ventilation, and it either sucked all the oxygen out of a bunker and they suffocated, or the fire actually traveled down the ventilation shaft because it was that hot. It was just burning oxygen, which, again, people kind of forget can happen. Oxygen is actually flammable.
But you do forget. I mean, you wander around in the air.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You wander around in the air and you can't imagine it being on fire. You just can't imagine the air around you being on fire, and it is. And if you see this stuff come through, it like punches through the air. There doesn't have to be trees and shit around you. It just punches through the air. And the air is on fire, and you go, well, that's me fucked in.
Yes. And that's sadly what some people found happening. Hey, you know what? I was thinking, I was going to try and do one of those things where you tie a theme up, and I was going to say something about Trump's impeachment being a bushfire, or he's more a garbage fire than anything else.
Yeah, I was going to say dumpster fire, really. Except with multiple dumpsters being poured in one after the other.
It's like that's not going on. Just keeps going in.
Just going in. And like backed up the truck and says, is that really going fast enough? No. Is that really? We should push some asphalt and bitumen in there too. It's like, dumpster fire. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's how we'll tie this podcast up, from Epstein to Trump to fires to Trump's just a fucking dumpster fire. Hope you've enjoyed listening to us in our normal rambling fashion. In fact, this time I think we broadly stayed on topic more than we usually do, even though we jumped all over. For us, on topic. We jumped all over the place, but I think for us, this was on topic most of the time.
I'm not sure if I like it, Angry. I'm not sure if I like this staying on topic thing.
We want it to be more random and uncontrolled in the future.
It's like we fucking, organised and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to say goodbye to any fine people who've had us in their ear holes listening to this podcast. And thank you so much to do so.
You're very nice for having us in your ear holes. Can I just lick that thing?
Yeah, go for it. And oh my God, I'm just imagining if someone actually has earbuds in, that would be disgusting.
No, it tasted fine, and that blackhead's gone now anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you've randomly stumbled upon the podcast and don't know much about us, just look for Angry Aussie on the various social medias, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, podcast, Angry Aussie Podcast. Subscribe and like and all those sorts of things.
Tell 6 of your mates because Angry's really nice and you'll like him a lot.
Yeah, and we produce lots of content. So if you're a fan of content, we've got you sorted. I'm just saying.
Mate, sorted for days.
So we hopefully will enjoy your company again sometime soon. Thank you once more for joining us for this. But we will say to our fine podcast listeners, bye for now.
Bye, guys. Thanks a lot.
And that's podcast out.
And that's podcast done. Yay.
Wrestling days.
Thank you very much, live people, for being very patient with us. And how much did we rip off our live listeners tonight? Fucking so much. Okay. Fucking we're looking over there going, oh, yeah, we'll have that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll have that. Thanks, guys.
Cliff Notes version of impeachment news. As eminently predictable, the Democrat-controlled Congress passed the articles of impeachment. The next stop is the pointless stop of it going to the Senate for a trial because the Republicans control the Senate and there's no way they're voting to remove Trump from office. But it's a question of how much they can be embarrassed. An interesting thing that happened, Speaker of the House, Pelosi, said, because the Republicans are being so egregious with saying, we're not even going to pretend. We're not even going to pretend to consider the evidence on this. We're just going straight to Trump didn't do anything wrong, no matter what the evidence is. Pelosi has said she's going to hold up sending the impeachment notice to the Senate until she's more satisfied there's actually going to be some sort of fair airing of evidence, which is an interesting little play because she's making the Republicans really out themselves as complete pricks, essentially.
Yeah, because you paint yourself in a box doing that.
Yeah, but
because you say we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And all she then needs to do is flick over the cards one by one, right? Going, this is bad. This is worse. Yeah. This is worse. And each time they go, oh yeah, no, we're not going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then it eventually comes out, child fucking, and they go, oh yeah.
They also can't do that. They can't do that. That they can only investigate the articles of impeachment, which is about the abusing the power of the office with Ukraine and obstructing justice.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying, but you also know what I mean, is that as they delve into this, and the articles of impeachment say this, and this, and this, and as it comes, even further depth-wise, and it looks worse and worse, then they look worse and worse. God, I sound so sexy with a smoke voice.
It is a very sexy, raspy voice.
Yeah,
You pay that close attention to. For those who came in late, I made eggnog with Sailor Jerry spiced rum and brandy, which is not bad, but it's not great. There's still top of the list is Drambuie and banana liqueur. That's fucking awesome. And actually, I made the ones with absinthe in them, which I was surprised how well that went. I did absinthe and creme de cacao and whatnot. Those were pretty good shit.
This is ridiculous. I've got to go again for a second. I'm just going
All
to
right.
mute myself so I don't scream.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, I've got the Sailor Jerry, but I've never actually read the label. It's crafted in honor of Norman Sailor Jerry Collins, father of the old school tattoo, born 1911, died 1973. So yeah, that sort of old school tattoo is what they're talking about. I always refer to them as sailor tattoos. It goes, the undisputed father of the old school tattoo, Norman Sailor Jerry Collins, built his rep tattooing World War II era Hawaii in Honolulu's brawling Hotel Street district, where soldiers and sailors came to raise hell before heading off to war. He was a master craftsman of unflinching integrity, and in his name we make our rum, blended with the finest rums from the Caribbean and our unmatched recipe of natural spices. So there you go. I didn't actually really pay attention to the story of. So, hi Pat, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, Megalicia, I hope that fulfills you. I said, whenever I bring up impeachment in the US, I feel really compelled to say to people, you need to remember impeachment is not a legal process, it's a political process. Like, even if the 1,000,000-to-1 shot of the Senate voting to remove Trump from office happened, he's still not a criminal. He's still not being held up as a criminal. That is literally just the politics he's been removed from. Oh my God. So it just aids you with his dancing. So yeah, it has some of the trappings of a legal process, but it's a political process. And so he's not impeached or removed from office based on evidence. He's impeached or removed from office based on partisan political voting. Oh, Big Pat, it's your dad's birthday. Happy birthday to Big Pat's dad.
Big Pat's dad, happy birthday. Yes.
I assume he's bigger Pat. You know, that's
biggest Pat.
That biggest Pat. That's how that sort of thing works. That's how I understand things to work. Flawless understanding of the nature of humanity and society in general.
Well, if you're talking about Pats and their bigness, you got Big Pat and you got biggest Pat. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen some largish Pats. But whatever, they're not big fat. And I've seen some people claiming to be bigger fat.
Yeah.
No, mate. No, buddy. No, don't come to a pub at Oxford Street. That's all there's leveling waiting for you. Yeah. I'm just saying, that's your world of pets.
Yeah. I was going to show you something when we were doing the podcasting talking about Trump, because this is fairly full-on thing. This was actually tweeted on Trump's Twitter account after the impeachment thing went through. And it's sort of creepy and evil, but very good marketing. It's all like threatening black and white, with Trump going, they're not after me, they're after you. And he's done this with a fundraising thing. It's creepy and evil, but it's really good marketing. Like, you can't really deny that it's really good marketing, because that's the sort of shit his followers literally believe.
They lap that shit up, even though none of that is real.
Yeah. But
none of that is real. And they lap that shit up. Do you know what I love? I've heard this just 2 weeks ago. You know what I love the shit out of?
Yeah.
MAGA hats. You've heard of MAGA hats, right?
Yes.
Make America Great Again. Okay. Yeah. They are made in China.
Yes.
Right. There is a rip-off MAGA hat.
Yes.
Made in Korea.
Nice.
We're going to make America great again by manufacturing hats in China. Yeah. And then we're going to have those made in China hats ripped off by the we think it's North Koreans. Wouldn't you have gotten a local textile? Sorry, stop. Sorry. Don't know what I'm talking about. Obviously, I'm not trying to make America great again. I'm not a billionaire. Not like I'm going to show you my bank balance anyway. Get fucked. Is it just me, or Make America Great Again hat made in China not a thing?
But he got away. That's another thing he got away with. All his merchandising is made in China. Didn't even go to the trouble of having it made in America. It's fucking hell.
Right.
You want to chat links? Sorry, Hub wants to post some links, but I don't think they'll show up. I think the default settings that I'm not really in control of don't let links show up if you post them. I'd say yes, you can, but I don't think we're going to see them if you do. That's all.
I love Hub's avatar too, by the way. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it looked kind of cool. And Gecko's, avatar is always cool.
Well, we know that. That's a gecko. That's
it's a gecko. Given a bit of lion, spider of crow freaks me out. Just the name of it, lion, spider of crow. Yeah. Can you imagine a lion spider?
Yeah, no, it is a good combination of words, basically.
Yeah. Can I post a couple of web links? No, damn, self-portrait. Self-portrait, Harbchan. Why the fuck not? I have a self-portrait too, but I'm not allowed to show it anywhere. Ever since the beating came
I'll show it to you, AD, because you're special. I managed to get a bigger image of Harb's avatar. Where is it? It's here. It's there. There you go. See? It's cute, isn't it? I like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. Harb says it's a portrait. So.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. I'm only still sort of bits of it. Yeah, right. I get it now. I see it now. Yeah. I thought it was like this sphere with nobules all over it. Like a Dalek had been turned inside out into a kind of time vortex that it wasn't looking for. Yeah. I am impressed with people's avatars, because for me it's just got my head going, and the other one's just me with an A on it. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put the pictures we have on there.
Yeah. Which is otherwise it'd just be me with my head going.
Oh no, I'm trying how to do overlays to show people a bit more close. Yeah, that's the one Dave Blumenstein did for us.
Oh, fuck, that's fun. Jesus Christ, how thin were we then?
Oh, that's just Dave being kind to us, I think.
That was years ago. We were a lot thinner, man.
That one was a couple of years old. It's not that old. Like I said, just Dave being polite. But this one you probably didn't see clearly. This is the one that Petty Wallaby did of us. This is our personas, our furry personas.
Actually, I'm loving the shit out of that.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
I'm the laughing Tasmanian devil, and you're the horrified wombat because I forced you to watch some gross Japanese horror film.
Because I always ask if we're going to see a movie where the outsides of people stay on the outside and the insides of people stay on the inside, and you always say yes. Yes. And sometimes you are not correct when you say that.
Sometimes I'm lying, yes.
That's the word I was going to use. Yes. Usually when I'm crying halfway through the movie, except if it's 21 Days of Night. Was it 21 Days of Night?
Oh, no, that's 30 Days of Night. That's the most violent vampire movie I've ever seen.
Which you and I did a movie on. And then next week I said, so let's go and see this 30 Days of Night. And you said, we did that last week. I went, no, we got to do it. And you said, no. No, we did it last week. Now, I think I'd had a concussion the week before. I think.
Maybe. And maybe it just traumatized you so you didn't remember it.
Oh no, I have no fucking memory of us doing it. And I've seen the fucking bit. I actually went back and watched the whole fucking thing. And there's me doing the thing. It was like total fucking autopilot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing things on cue, doing them right, doing them correctly. I
Yeah.
have no memory of going to your house. I have no
Yeah.
memory of talking to your folks. I have no memory of doing the thing. And then obviously I went home. I have nothing. And I do remember seeing a dark mark on my nose and across here. Like I remember that, and I looked a little bit eyes shut, a little bit dopey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I might have hit something or bashed my head or something. Because it was those kind of days. Yes, they were. Don't bash my head so much these days, except that I did. Oh, right. So I got to Canberra, right?
Yeah.
And on the first night I was here, I kept on like sort of dosing off and then slipping over and falling and bashing against things. And I was going, what's going on here? And I did it like 10 times or something like that. And I was just going, what is going on here? And basically there was a discussion had. And I said, no, it's not drugs because you can get that out of your head because the piss tests have been clean for 3.5 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I did a bit of research on the web. Now, myself and boss of the house have been having weird shifts lately. He's been getting up early, coming home early. And then I've been getting up late, going late. And so then to interact, we've been cutting time out of my sleep time. So when I got here, and this happened for a couple of days, right? Because the people get up and go to bed here at different times as well. As at the same time for them, but different time to me. And I had a look at it, and apparently you can get jet lag. It's a kind of jet lag when your sleep shifts are out. It can knock you about. Because I was going to sleep during dinner, right? And it's blah, 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 and then just crash, And I'm just going, no. And then, I found out it was kind of like jet lag. And you get used to it, like I'm used to it now, and I'll probably be screwed by next week. So, it's been nice talking to you, Angry. That's if I'm allowed to get on a plane. Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, I hope I'm allowed to get out of here tomorrow. I really hope. It's fairly important.
Look, it's almost time to go. I'm just going to share. Harb wanted to share some images with us and shared them with me on Twitter. So I'm going to show them. There's this one, which is an unfortunate stained glass choice that someone made. Sorry, I've got to click the right button to share it. There you go.
Here we go.
That's an unfortunate choice someone made with that stained glass window.
But what are you going to do? Really? Yeah. In the end, what are you going to do?
And the other one is, there you go, Donald Trump's mother, which explains a lot about Donald Trump's inexplicable hairstyle. That is for real an unphotoshopped picture of Donald Trump's mother. So.
I don't know that you should have shown me that.
I know, it's pretty fucking weird, isn't it?
I've got to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Because they don't let you on the plane if they think you're drunk.
I'm not even joking. It explains a lot about Donald Trump's ridiculous hairstyle. He's a mummy's boy.
It explains a lot about a lot of things, dude. It explains a lot of things about a lot of things. I have spent a lifetime learning what people's faces say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this suggestion from RC that you should present late night movies on commercial TV. Everyone's like the Chips Rafferty film. Did you see that any of the Smiley films? Those are classics.
He's giving Smiley a gun. basically because as an underage kid, when you wipe out adults, you only go to jail till you're 18 maximum. And so, Smiley, it's time to get Mr. Ferguson to stop getting his cows in our paddock again, isn't it, Smiley? Yes, take him out in the morning while he's milking his cows.
But there's 2 or 3 Smiley films.
I think there's even 4.
Well, I'm going to look it up now.
I think there's even 4 Smiley films.
I think I've seen 2 of them.
I know I've seen 2, maybe 3. I know I've seen 2.
Smiley. Trying to find the. Oh no, there was actually only 2. Smiley Gets a Gun. What a fantastic name for a family-friendly movie. Smiley Gets a Gun. And then the one that the controversial 3rd movie, not widely seen, Smiley Fucks Up Farmer Jones with his guns.
That's right. What was that bloody very old person music? Someone gets a gun and he's got a gun.
Oh yeah, that's Aerosmith. Janie's Got a Gun.
Janie's Got a Gun.
Fantastic. It's a story about a girl who's being sexually assaulted and just fucking shoots her abuser. Which, for like a top 40 rock song, is a really wild story.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was very smooth too. It's like, you know, you're gonna do, and then she blew his fucking.
Her dad's the abuser who gets shot. Hub is reminding us there was the 4th unused film title, Smiley Busts a Cap in Your Ass. I think that was the gritty 80s reboot set in the hood.
You know, I am getting a little fucking sick of Americans taking foreign films, repurposing from themselves, because the next thing we'll be hearing Smiley straight out of Dapto.
Straight out of Dapto. Crazy motherfucker called Smiley.
And
from a band called Bogans with Attitude.
I was going to say Wollongongians with Attitude.
Wollongongians with Attitude?
Which is just as bad as saying nigger.
I was thinking there was the old thing from the Auntie Jack show. There was Gary McDonald. I think it was pre-Norman Gunston.
It was pre-Norman Gunston. It was James.
I know Auntie Jack was pre-Norman Gunston, but there was a novelty single released, their version of but I think it was Norman Gunston. It was like it was Norman Gunston. Someone singing "I've Been Everywhere," and it was some popular entertainer like Cole Joy singing the traditional words like "I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere," and he says all the cities, and then Norman goes, "Oh, that's nothing. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Wollongong, Wollongong, Wollongong,
Wollongong." Yeah. And that's all it is. Yeah. And hello, Auntie Jack.
You're like, why is this funny? It's hilarious, but why is it funny that this guy from Wollongong has never been further than Dapto and he thinks he's well travelled? I was like, my God.
What I think was fucking hilarious is I had a girlfriend once and she was from Wollongong, and apparently Dapto is apparently a different city, which makes me laugh my ass out. But it's also got the blowhole.
Yes.
Anyway, the mayor of Dapto put a new slogan out and said, "Don't dump on Dapto."
Hey,
that was their big city slogan. Nice. Don't dump on Dapto. It was like, oh shit, you know how bad it's got to be. It's like, don't shit on us.
Well, I'm going to go to bed now with that classy thought of we shouldn't shit on Dapto.
Don't dump on Dapto, buddy. Yeah, don't dump on Dapto.
So remember that, people. If you take nothing else away from your time with us tonight, remember that you shouldn't dump on Dapto.
Don't dump on Dapto.
Go across to Twitch, and I'm It's Angry Aussie on Twitch, and you should like and friend. And I'm putting the link again. It's pretty easy on Twitch. The username is It's Angry Aussie.
Hang on. Sorry, Lion Spider of Crow has just reminded me that train rides between Blacktown and Mount Druitt is always culturally enriching. And fuck yes, they are.
I remember driving, our mate Casmo, who was actually a working journo while we were at uni, and this was pre-internet days. So if he had to file a story, he'd have to print it out and then physically go back to Sydney and file it. And he just really randomly rocked into the Union Bar one day and says, "Who wants to do a road trip to Sydney? I've got to drive to Sydney tonight, and I don't want to do it alone." I just said, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah,
drive to
and
Sydney.
People would do that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember his thing was when we're driving through the Blue Mountains, he's going, "Right, okay, we're going through Blackheath. Windows up, doors locked, not fucking joking. Don't make eye contact as we go through here. If someone drags you out of the car, I'm driving off and leaving you.
And leaving you right here. You're fucked. Yeah.
I'm not joking. Windows up, doors locked, eyes straight ahead. Don't make eye contact with anyone. I will leave you for dead."
Yeah.
Did not have a high opinion of the people of Blackheath.
Well, I mean, shit, I've seen fucking 44-gallon drums on fire in front yards. And you just go, you know how they set them up to make fire? No, this was sideways. Someone had dumped a barrel of fire on someone else's front yard to send a message.
That doesn't get much like, when they were talking about putting a prison in Lithgow, we were just like, are they just putting a fence around the town? Is that what it is?
Is that what's going on there?
Because
wouldn't it be too cold?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they get done for too cold?
Not good. But anyway, I'm going to say good night to you wonderful people.
So thank you so very much, people, for looking at us. You're so nice. And we hope to see you again on the Tuesdays. Yes. If I haven't got, the cough of angry.
Tuesday is Christmas Eve. I don't know if...
probably not going to see Tuesday.
Well, maybe.
Probably not going to see Tuesday. Well, maybe, but boss of the house is a little bit fucking.
Yeah.
You're doing what I'm telling you.
Next week, we'll take it as it comes next week, not making any promises about next week. But you all look after yourselves. And yes, while this is the festive season and you're meant to be happy, I thoroughly understand that it's really fucked time of year for someone else, for some people. So don't feel too much pressure to do what everyone thinks you should do. Look after yourself, okay? Take good care.
That's right. You're good. We like you. We do really actually like you.
Yeah, we do. We want to see you again soon. So we'll say bye, but we'll be back. But bye for now.
See you.